Into the quarterfinals we go now, over in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, where some big nations eliminated, but some of the favourites still in the competition. Who's going to get closer to those semi-finals? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at the CONCACAF 2025 Gold Cup. That's right, 8 clubs remain. Only 4 spots remain in for those semi-finals. Who will take that advantage and get into the final couple? That's right. We'll take a look in just a second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button for Gold Cup, World Football, Blackburn Rovers, all here under one rooski. That's right. We said goodbye to Jamaica. Yeah, Jamaica made crazy. Also, Trinidad and Tobago are no more. But the likes of Guatemala, Honduras are here to gate crash the party. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. But we're going to jump in the deep end and talk about this. That's right. Is the Gold Cup. And we're going to first and foremost review the last round of group games. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you. This should be on the screen any second now. Alrighty then, folks, on the screen now, you should see my predictions on the left-hand side. The real deal is on the right. I did go with the draw between the top 2 there, Mexico and Costa Rica. I went with the 2-2, but actually it was a 0-0 draw. Same can be said. Same group there, Dominican Republic and Suriname also ended up all square. I went with an away win on that one. Canada did not let us down. 2-0 winners over El Salvador. I went with a 3-1 win. Honduras the same over Curacao. I went with a 2-0 win. It was a 2-1 win for them, and they go through to the final 8. That's right. Panama absolutely battered Jamaica. Put a statement result down as the Reggae Boys once again choked when it mattered the most. I went with a 3-2 away win for Jamaica, and also Guatemala will join them. That's Panama into those quarterfinals. 3-2 winners over Guadalupe. Bit of a thriller there. I went with a 1-0 win. The USA did beat Haiti, just a 2-1. I went with a 4-0. And Saudi Arabia also will join the USA and the Co in those quarterfinals. Drawing with Trinidad and Tobago 1-1. Again, I went with an away win on that one. So a little bit gutted there, but of course it sets ourselves up for a nice cracking quarterfinals. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in just a second. Let's review those tables then as they've all finished. We see Mexico top the bins there in Group A, Costa Rica in second spot, Canada also through their top of Group B, Honduras are in second. Moving forward, we see into Group C, Panama doing the business, 3 wins out of 3. Of course, 1 of 2 teams have got that record. Guatemala also joined them. Meanwhile, the USA will be joined by guest nation Saudi Arabia in those quarterfinals. And this is it, guys. This is the quarterfinals coming at you on the screen right about now. We're going to go through them one by bloody one. I'm going to start with, of course, the USA. They're going to be hosting Costa Rica. That's actually on Monday, or actually Sunday, depending on where you are in the world. Monday for those in the UK, but it is Sunday. And it's, of course, coming at you at the US Bank Stadium. That's right, USA under Mauricio Pochettino. 3 wins on the 3 now. Of course, all that pre-tournament nerves have gone away, and they look the real deal. But standing in the ray is Costa Rica and Amigo Herrera. Unbeaten in the last 6. They're in 92% form for them. And in fact, it's probably the worst possible draw for USA in this competition. It's going to be a tight old game. Yes, it will. Both sides coming into via their own groups. They've played 21 times since 2003. 11 wins for the USA, 8 wins for Costa Rica. There's been 2 draws between the 2 sides. The USA have a 4-0 win on the record, as do Costa Rica. Their hosts have got 30 goals scored against the opposition, 1.43 goals a game. Costa Rica just the 24 goals scored in those 21 matches against the United States, picking up a 1.14 goals a game on average. The most recent match between these 2 sides was a 3-0 win way back at the start of the year. It was a friendly match, but the last match of any significance went in favour of Costa Rica. It was a World Cup qualifier for 2022 there, way back then. And of course, they came out on top. Costa Rica 2-0 win. In fact, the USA, though, are, just got 1 defeat against Costa Rica in the last 6. So the recent form has been in favour of the USA. And their record so far, they did beat Trinidad and Tobago 5-0. Also picked up a win over guest nation Saudi Arabia 1-0. And they followed that with a 2-1 win over Haiti. As for Costa Rica, not as perfect as that of the USA. 4-3 winners over Suriname, 2-1 winners over Dominican Republic, and the draw against the Mexican outfit. But the bookies will go. What we got here, we got 7-4 on is USA, 92 is Costa Rica, 31-10 is the draw. I think if the USA get past this, they are on a good run, and I do think they could actually roll into the final, maybe even win the whole thing. So I have been impressed with the USA. The younger squad is looking authentic and real, but Costa Rica going to give them a headache. I know that. I'm going to go with I'm leaning towards USA here. 3-1 winners on the night. of course, and that will put them into the semi-final. Standing in the way, there will be the winner of this match here. It's Canada up against Guatemala. Coming at you also at the US Bank Stadium. That's right. Also, same match day. That's right. I think they're all kicking off on the Sunday. It's a stellar day of football. Actually, tell a lie. This was actually on the Sunday. The other two are on the Saturday. But anyway, Canada coming into this under Jesse Marsh there right now. Of course, coming through top bins in their group, 75% form, just one defeat in the last 6. Up against Guatemala, under Luis Tena, coming into second place in their group. And of course, 58% form. That form has 3 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw over the last 6. They played each other 4 times, these two nations, since 2004. 3 wins Canada, nothing for Guatemala. There has been 1 draw between these two sides. Canada have a 3-0 win on the record. They got 5 goals scored against Guatemala, picking up a 1.25 goals game ratio. Guatemala yet to win, yet to score. So coming into this with a lot against them. However, they did last play back in July 2023 in the Gold Cup. It was a 0-0 draw. Of course, Canada, though, good record against them prior to that, 3 wins on the spin. Coming into this, the Canadians are on the back of a 6-0 win over Honduras. They've also drew with Curacao, and they've beaten El Salvador. All have similar flags to that of Guatemala. Guatemala, though, coming into this on the back of that 1-0 win over Jamaica. They also lost to Panama, but they bounced back with a 3-2 win. Thriller against Guadalupe. The odds for this one, 29 on is your Canada, 7-2 is the draw, 6-1 is your Guatemala. We're going to back the Canadians this one. Going to go with a 2-0 victory here and to set themselves up with a nice little semi-final. Let's go to the next one then, shall we? It's Mexico against guest nation Saudi Arabia. That's right. That's coming at you on the Saturday, 28th of June at the State Farm Stadium, Mexico, at the Javier Aguilar. Top of the pops right now, of course, in their group, 7 points, 7 possible 9. Unbeaten the last 4, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Saudi Arabia under Hervé Renard. They've only picked up 1 win on their tour here over in the United States. And that's just 1 win in the last 4 matches for the Saudi Arabians. Now, they played once, these two nations, back in 2022. It was in the World Cup. Mexico came out top with a 2-1 win way back in November 2022. The Mexicans, though, their resume so far, 3-2 win over Dominican Republic. They also picked up a solid win over Suriname, 2-0. And then finally wrapped up a 0-0 draw against Costa Rica. Saudi Arabia, though, just the 1 defeat for them in the campaign. They beat Haiti, they lost to USA, and they drew with Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the odds for this one, we have 50-21 on is your Mexico, 10-3 is the draw, 30-2 is your away win Saudi Arabia. I honestly was umming and ahhing about this one for a few minutes. I just didn't. I thought Saudi Arabia could do it. But realistically, Mexico have got to step it up. They've been okay. They've been average. But this is where you earn your keep here. And they've got a tricky path to the final. But they will. I do think they will oust Saudi Arabia in a tight old game. 2-1 win. And Mexico will go through into the semi-finals. But who will they play? To take the last match we do have on our agenda here, it is Panama. They're taking on, who they got? They got Honduras. That's right. Coming at you also on the 28th of June. Let me just dig this one out of the gutter right here, right now. Also coming at you, the State Farm Stadium. That's right, Panama under Thomas Christensen. 5 wins on the spin for them right now. Top bins, 9 points of a possible 9. Up against Honduras under Ronaldo Reyeda. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. They're on 83% form. And they've played Panama 18 times since 2005. 7 wins Panama, 5 wins Honduras. 6 draws between the two sides. Last time around, it was, in fact, a draw as a World Cup qualifier way back in March 2022. But looking back, it's actually been, very, very... Actually, Panama only just 1 win in the last 6 against Honduras. Honduras, though, coming into this on the back of that 6-0 loss to Canada. They bounced back with back-to-back wins over El Salvador and then Curacao. Panama, though, perfect record. 5-2 win over Guadalupe, 1-0 win over Guatemala, and a 4-1 win over Jamaica. They've scored 10 goals in the first 3 matches combined. And I'll fancy to get themselves some goals here. The odds here, 20-13 on your Panama. 11-4 is the draw. 9-2 is your away win. That is Honduras on this one. I'm going to go with Panama. Of course, I really wanted to try and find a surprise in this, but I think the only one that's probably doable is this USA-Costa Rica one. But I'm going to go Panama here, 2-0 win, comfortably done. And that will set up some semi-finals, some spicy ones as well, as we edge closer to a final. We're left with the United States taking on Canada. And then we'll have Mexico taking on Panama. That's right. So a spicy agenda still on the horizon here of the Gold Cup. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about that and much more as we look forward to those semi-finals. We'll have previews of the quarterfinals as we get closer to the kickoff. But until then, that's all I've got. Subscribe, smash a like. We'll see you soon. We're done.